Space Shuttle Enterprise making its final flight. It's traveling from Washington to New York City, its ultimate home, the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum, which is located on the Hudson River in New York City. The Enterprise is the granddaddy of the shuttle program. It served as the prototype, even though it never experienced a space mission of its own. In case you missed it, here's the shuttle's departure from Dulles in Washington, outside of Washington, I should just say. That happened just about, 30 minutes ago. The takeoff was a little behind schedule, but we have no reason to believe the delay will affect the Enterprise's plans. NASA says it will do low flyovers over the Statue of Liberty and other New York City landmarks. We are following the Enterprise, as I said, every step of the way. Reynolds Wolf is here with me. You are tracking the flight. Jason Carroll is live in New York City. John Zarella, he's our space correspondent. He's live in Miami. Let's head out to John F. Kennedy Airport first. That's where the Enterprise will finally land. Jason Carroll is there. Set the scene for us.
Well, there's a lot of excited people who are starting to arrive here at JFK. Hundreds of invited guests, school children coming in from New Jersey, Connecticut, and of course right here in New York will be on hand, as well as invited guests from NASA and the Intrepid Sea and Air and Space Museum going to be here as well. And in fact, I've got one with me here right now. This is Susan Marinoff. Susan, so a lot of anticipation and excitement about the Enterprise finally making its way to New York. This has got to be a great day for you.
It's an absolutely wonderful day, and I think that the build-up has just been great. Even with it being here, or supposed to have been here on Monday and Wednesday, it just made it that much more exciting that wheels are up and it's happening today.
And there were some concerns about whether or not the Enterprise would arrive today. It's windy out here today, 30-mile-per-hour gusts, but everything is a go.
Everything is a go. The flight crew is completely confident. We had 2 weather checks this morning. We've had weather checks every day. Clear skies, little breezy. We'll all deal with it because it's in the air.
Now, an exciting day for New York City. Not so exciting for the folks in Houston who were hoping to get their hands on a shuttle. Tell us how that all came about, that New York came to be one of the cities chosen to get a shuttle.
You know, there were 29 originally who responded to an RFI, and that was 3 years ago.
An RFI?
I'm sorry, request for information.
Thank you.
3 years ago, and then 2 years ago, we were asked to respond to a second one. Apparently, the field went down to about 21 institutions. But clearly, we all wanted this so badly, and there were certain parameters, and New York has just a fabulous population. We're so excited that we'll be able to take care of it, perpetuate its honor and its history. We are going to be able to really explore even greater depths now of our STEM programming, our science, technology, engineering, and math programming, and we are just so excited that it'll be coming to New York.
You know, I was explaining to Carol that for folks here in the Northeast, it's so exciting to get an opportunity to see a shuttle. You know, folks in Florida are used to it, people in Houston are used to it, but here in the Northeast, just give us a sense of what it's like for those people here to get to see a shuttle so up close.
Well, you are spot on. This is going to be the largest NASA artifact north of Baltimore in the entire Northeast region. So for kids to be able to come and see this, where they'd have to travel miles and miles to go somewhere else, I mean, it's right in their backyard. So it's so exciting for school trips, for other institutions that we'll be partnering with, for universities. So we are all just so excited that we now have this representation in the Northeast.
And many questions about what the future of space travel will be. And for the past, 3 decades, the shuttle program has really defined what NASA is. And so I'm curious what you think. How do you think NASA will be defined in the future?
You know, it's very hard for me to say, but this is the reason why it's been so important for these museums to want to display the shuttle. This is going to make people think, what are we going to do going forward?
And what we can do next.
And what we can do next. So is it privatization? Is it going to be public again? We have to figure that out. But we know, as a country, we're going to figure that out.
Who knows, maybe someday the next space artifact you'll get will be something from a private company going into lower orbit. Maybe.
You never know.
You never know. But an exciting day for us today. Thank you very much, Susan. Thanks very much for being with us. So, Carol, as you saw, the flight took off at about, 9:24 a.m. The flight expected to take about anywhere between 30 and maybe 40 minutes. It'll do a low flyover over some exciting parts of the city, the Hudson River, downtown near Battery Park. So a lot of people, even though they weren't invited here to be with people like Susan and myself and the hundreds of others who will be out here, just average New Yorkers will get an opportunity if they go out their doors, go out to the Hudson River or go downtown. They'll get an opportunity to see something historic, a space shuttle flying in its own way over the city. Carol?
I know that'll be so fantastic. We keep showing shots of the Verrazano Bridge, and there's a reason for that. Reynolds Wolf is here with me now. He's tracking the flight of the Space Shuttle Enterprise, and we believe it's somewhere over South Jersey, and soon it will appear right in this area, along the Hudson to the Verrazano Bridge in all its glory.
Yes, and it's going to be picture perfect. You know, the weather is going to cooperate. For people on the ground, sure, it's breezy. We've had some winds, as Jason mentioned, around 30 miles per hour or so, some fair weather cumulus. But I'll tell you, the pilots that are right now at the controls of the 747 are among the best of the planet. These guys could make this flight blindfolded with their eyes closed, sound asleep.
Gosh,
These guys, no, they won't. But I mean, I'm telling you, these guys are among the very, very best. But it should be a fairly interesting time to see it come in. The weather will be great for all the spectators on the ground. They're going to be lining up along the Hudson, of course, in southern Manhattan to see this come in. And it should truly be something to behold, but the weather is going to be picture perfect. Farther out to the west, a little bit of a storm, but not going to affect us here today.
You talk about the future of space travel. I don't know, these moments, that we are lucky enough to witness history like this. You think back on your own personal history, and I can remember sitting with my dad when I was a little girl watching the first man walk on the moon. A very special image in my mind. I mean, it's as clear as day. I can remember it. And I'm sure many Americans are feeling, wow, we hope we can have those memories one day again.
Absolutely.
Let's head to Miami now and check in with John Zarella. You've been covering the space program like, what, forever?
Yeah, well, not quite since man first landed on the moon. Not
you were a little boy too then.
I was a little boy too, and I remember it the same way you do. I remember I had a little reel-to-reel recorder, and I was recording the audio of Walter Cronkite's narration of the moon landing. So see, but you were just talking with Jason Carroll and about that whole controversy, and you're right when you said, yeah, they were downright angry in Houston because Houston thought they should get a shuttle. They thought it would be Enterprise because besides Florida, there's no other place synonymous with spaceflight as Houston, Texas. NASA's decision-making process was, look, we want the shuttles in places where they will get the maximum exposure. New York, Florida, and, of course, out in California. So that was a lot of what went into the decision-making process to put Enterprise in New York. And, you were also talking with Lori Garver about Leonard Nimoy. And there is this terrific still photo that we found of the crew, the Star Trek cast, standing there all in front of the shuttle Enterprise as it rolled out from Palmdale, California, where it was built at the Skunk Works factory that they call it there. I think we have that photo. So there it is. Yeah, that's the crew. Of course, you know who's not in that picture? Who's not in that picture?
Is Captain Kirk in there? I'm looking.
Captain, he's not there. He must have been out looking for hotel deals that day. I don't know, but he's not.
He was working for Hotwire.com. He couldn't make it.
Exactly. And if you do get Nimoy on today with you, ask him where was Kirk for this photo, but because everybody else is there, and that's just a spectacular photo there of Enterprise with the crew with the cast.
Hey, John, I did want to ask you this, because Lori Garver did bring up this. There's a reason that Leonard Nimoy is there, Mr. Spock. There's a reason he's there talking to the crowds in New York City. There's a reason that the space shuttle, is doing these flyovers of major cities in the United States. This is an orchestrated PR campaign by NASA, right?
Yeah, there's no question about it. We talked about the fact that NASA right now is in this downturn. They're in between programs. And they went through this after Apollo. Before Shuttle, there was a down period as well. But in this case, perhaps it's a little bit scarier times. Budgets are tighter. NASA wants to make sure it keeps its funding. A week from Monday, in your show at 9:22 a.m., SpaceX is going to attempt the launch and rendezvous with the International Space Station. The future of low Earth orbit, commercial companies. It's a huge, huge undertaking. The first time ever, if it's accomplished, that a commercial company will have done anything remotely close to this. Rendezvous, berthing with the International Space Station, drop off supplies. That is the future. The future for NASA is, as Lori Garver put it, is deep space exploration, building a rocket that will take humans out to an asteroid and eventually on to Mars. Takes a lot of money. NASA did not have enough money to continue flying Space Shuttle and to build this next generation rocket. Thus the approach: turn low Earth orbit over to commercial companies, let NASA concentrate on what it does best, and that is building a next-generation spacecraft. So this, clearly orchestrated PR.
Truth be told, John, if NASA had been more nimble in its future plans, NASA wouldn't be having this, downturn in its space program today.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. There's a lot, not just NASA. A lot of the blame falls, at the steps of Congress as well. Monies were not appropriated. Decisions were made back in the Bush administration to do away with the shuttle, to go to a new rocket design, and then that rocket design was actually the Constellation program was then scrubbed, by the Obama administration. So there's been all of these fits and starts and changes. Not all, and so there's plenty of blame, if you want to blame, to go around to where NASA is now. And as one astronaut put it to me not that long ago, he said, listen, we have got to have smoke and fire to inspire young people, to inspire America again, to get the funding, to do the things we need to do. And that may come in 2014 when NASA finally flies, they hope to, the Orion capsule out to about 5,000 miles and then re-enter it into the Earth's atmosphere. High-speed re-entry, like if you were coming back from an asteroid or from Mars. So, but they have to do that. Carol?
We're going to talk more about this, but we have to take a break right now as we await the Space Shuttle Enterprise to come back into our camera's range as it flies over the Hudson River there. We'll be back in a minute.